Hello and welcome to the On the Whistle. We are here in the Hotel Azalai in Cote d'Ivoire in Abidjan, and we've got a brilliant guest coming back. He's been so generous. We've interviewed him, 2-3 times now, and you're back on the show. First time in person, so it makes a huge difference. But Pico Lopes is here. Pico, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Alistair. Yeah, thanks very much, and thanks for having me back on the show. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely. It must feel pretty good topping a group with Ghana, Egypt, Mozambique, Cape Verde, the story of the tournament, bar maybe Cote d'Ivoire's absolute collapse. But what is the mood in the camp? How are you feeling kind of having done this? Have you had a chance to reflect on what a brilliant achievement the group stage has been?
Yeah, we have, and I think that's been the most enjoyable part, that we've recognised what we've done and celebrate it for what it is. Obviously there's a lot of work ahead and what we want to achieve in our goals, but look, we really enjoyed the game, the victory after Ghana. And then the Mozambique one, which cemented our qualification, was brilliant. And then the game against Egypt, to cap it off, to go undefeated to the group, finish top. It was just amazing. And I just think the lift it's given us in the group, where every day people come down smiling in the face, and it's just a really feel-good vibe atmosphere at the moment.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why Cape Verde have been so such a story this tournament, so brilliant, is I think partially because of last tournament. Last tournament we saw you were in the group with Cameroon and Burkina Faso and Ethiopia, and you got through the group. So you kind of did the same thing in terms of getting through the group, but it's been totally different. I remember you saying it before the tournament. You said, look, the football we're playing a 4-3-3, we're playing proper, you said Cape Verdean football, right, instead of kind of the more defensive kind of back five that we saw in Cameroon. I want to hear a bit how did that transformation happen? Because it's essentially the same group of players. You've had a couple guys like Bebe join since then, but how did that change come about in terms of the football you've been playing? Because it's been brilliant.
Yeah, well, look, since I've come in, I think it sort of reflects the football we've been trying to play since my time been here. And when I first started, we were traditionally a 4-3-3 team, and we sort of changed to a 3-5-2 or 5-3-2 in the lead up to the last just to try something differently. So we've reverted back to, I suppose, what most of the players are comfortable to. And I don't know, we just sort of, the players that we have in the team, they're more suited to getting on the ball and keeping the ball and showing their quality, and trying to attack as much as we can. And I think it was a fairly natural transition for us to go from what was the last AFCON to what we're playing now.
Yeah, and I think what strikes me particularly about your team is, I don't think there's any team in this competition, or to be honest, any international competition I've watched recently, where there's so much self-expression. I think in that first game I counted 5 nutmegs against Ghana. And the fans love it. The Ivorians love it. This is one thing I've loved about the Ivorian fans here is, they love a goal, they love all of that. But what they really want is they want to see players humiliating other players, and that's what we see with you guys. How much of that is kind of coached, and how much of that and tactically is part of the game plan? How much of it is kind of you guys just saying, look, we're here to express ourselves and play football?
Yeah, look, it's a mix of everything. Yeah, there's the players that have the ability to pull off these tricks and the goals, as you're saying as well. But there's also the manager who allows us that freedom, who tells us to go out there, show your quality, and have the confidence to show it. I think that's the big thing, because you look across the teams in this tournament, there's loads of quality players in that squad. In the squads around, but you have to have the confidence to show that. And I think obviously off the back of the victory in Ghana, lads have been confident to show what they can do on the big stage, and that's whether the players coming in for the first game or the second or third game. It's just really it's something that's we're encouraged to do.
Yeah, and because that Ghana game, I think I was looking at the stats. It was you guys created the most XG in I think any game at the group stage against Ghana, which is ludicrous in terms of, you think about the amount. I think you almost had I think it was almost 4 or 3 goals that you XG, unreal. Yeah. And so I think when people, particularly back home in the UK or Ireland, see Cape Verde beat Ireland, must be kind of backs against the walls, but you absolutely dominated them. But I remember when we spoke after the game, you said it was class. We played the football we wanted to play. We played attacking football, but we were a little shaky at the back, a little open. But then against Mozambique, you kind of shut that down. Mozambique, who kind of looked really dangerous against Egypt, didn't have a kind of sniff against you guys. What kind of changed in terms of being able to create that defensive solidity?
I think one of the big things was the nerves. Obviously, the first game of the tournament is going to be that little bit of nervousness. You don't want to make mistakes. You want to try to win the game, and you're probably a little bit more cautious and on the edge a bit, against Mozambique. we obviously knew with the results of the first game, if we win this, we were through. We would have cemented that qualification. Like, so it was that bit more determination in the group. And obviously we watched the Ghana game back, and we picked up a few things that we could potentially do better defensively. And I think that's what we'll continue to do going forward. We'll watch games back. We'll look at what we've done well and where we can improve.
Yeah, and kind of reflecting on your own journey with this team. You came into it a few years ago. You had your first AFCON in Cameroon. What has been the difference for you, like personally, your experience in Cameroon, and then as well as here in Abidjan, both off and on the pitch? How have you found your experience being different?
I know. I think I keep highlighting it, but COVID is a huge thing. You've mentioned that already as well. The Ivorians, they're brilliant. I have to say, like whether we're going training or whether we're coming back to the hotel from matches or training, you're getting celebrated like you've won the tournament already. Like, and it's just an incredible feeling. Like the people here are just so happy to see footballers around the place, and that's made it really special for me. Like the support you get, as I say, at training or whether it be at the matches, the interaction you're able to have with people now around the hotel. It's brilliant. And look, I think the standard of the hotel we're in, the facilities we have, like, and we're lucky to be, I think, 15 minutes away from the stadium as well. It all adds up and all makes a real difference.
Yeah, and on the pitch, I want to also ask, because you have this kind of very attack-minded team in Cape Verde, and like you said, this has kind of been a journey that the team has been on, under Bista and the time you've been in here. From yourself, because even I was looking at your stats from last tournament to this tournament, and your passes are up, your pass accuracy is up, your progressive passes, everything in terms of an attacking is up, and your defensive actions are down because you're not defending as much because you're dominating games. Obviously you've played to really, really great standard in the League of Ireland, and that's come a long way over the last decade in terms of the technical quality, the professionalism, and you're in the team of the season last year. But has playing for Cape Verde changed you as a player in terms of the way you play at all?
I don't think it's changed me in terms of a player. I've always tried to play that way, or at least learn to play that way, like, and develop as a player. I think the confidence levels have definitely gone up. Obviously, you're sharing the pitch with some really decorated footballers, not just in our team, but across the world. Like, and especially at tournaments like these, like if you can take like playing at this level and being comfortable playing at this level and showing your ability, it's something that sort of raises your levels in terms of where you want to reach as a footballer. Whereas that's ability-wise, commitment-wise, driven-wise, you're doing that at one of the highest stages in football. So can only really take confidence from that. Yeah,
it's absolutely. It must. I mean, it can only do that if you're playing well and like getting through these groups. I mean, it's been great to watch. One of the things I wanted to ask is kind of about Coach Bista. We've spoken about him a couple times, but because he's not someone who's had a lot of pedigree, in Europe or even coaching on the continent. Have you seen that journey of him kind of developing as a coach and this team as a group? Like, how much is the fact that you guys have been able to do well now down to you've had the same coach for the last 3 or 4 years, you've had this established kind of team, and you've had 1 or 2 players who've come, you've had 1 or 2 players leave, but generally you've kind of been on this journey together. How much has the coaching staff and Bista in particular been in terms of that?
It's been incredible. Like, I think the fact that we have been together, that familiarity, like, it's a huge thing, and the bond we have together. Like, he knows the players that he has in the squad, he knows what makes them tick, he knows what gets the best reaction out of them, like, and he listens to us as well. Like, I mean, he's always asking for questions or how we can improve things. Like, and look, being the true Cape Verdean man, he played for the team as well. Like, he understands what it means to play at this level, and although he probably hasn't coached in what regards one of the higher leagues, he knows his football, and he knows how to get his messages across onto the pitch, and you can see that in the way we play. We play for him, like, and he gives us everything to be the best we possibly can be.
Yeah, and I think I want to kind of ask you about that, because it's so interesting that I've noticed this Africa Cup of Nations is there's so many more coaches who are local guys coaching their teams. Whether Equatorial Guinea with Juan Micha, doing wonders there. You see it all across. Even those who aren't necessarily local coaches, they've had coaches who've come from Africa. I think Mauritania, the guys you're playing, Amir Abdou's Comorian, took Comoros to the round of 16 last time, and then he gets a job at Mauritania. Genuinely, how much of a difference does it make? Because in Africa, we've seen over the last couple decades that there's been a tendency oftentimes for coaches who haven't succeeded in Europe to get an easy gig, I guess, on the continent. We're not seeing that as much anymore. from your experience working with Bista, how much of a difference does it make that he is Cape Verde? He has played for this team. He knows what it means to be a part of the badge, rather than someone who's kind of come from abroad and maybe doesn't understand that aspect.
Yeah, look, for me, like, I don't really think about of where that person's from. I just think of the quality as a manager, and he has everything to be a really successful manager. Like I said, his man management skills, how he's able to talk to players, how he organises his teams, like it really is top level stuff. And I suppose since I've came into playing international football and playing African Cup of Nations and African qualifiers for that, like, you have to learn to respect everybody. Like, I know back from back home, like in Ireland, like, we look at the Ireland team and see where we're getting players from. Are they playing in the Premier League? Are they playing in Championship or whatever? Like, and I've come to international setups and we have players from all over the leagues, from Bulgaria, Turkey, France, Dubai, and these are quality players that I'm playing with. So you have to respect where everybody plays in world football. And I think the same goes for management as well. If you've got the skills and the qualities, it doesn't matter where you're from or where you're managing. Like, you have to be respected.
Definitely. I think I might be right in saying this, but I think Cape Verde is the only team in this competition where every single player plays for a different club. There's no one who are teammates. I think you're the only country that. So it's even like on steroids. And I want to talk about that because, like, I don't know. I want to, first of all, during your game against Mozambique, I was literally Googling flights to Cape Verde. So I need to get there.
It's beautiful, yeah, you should definitely go.
I need to understand what is it about this place, because, like, when I think about it, population of like 500,000 spread out over these 4 islands, over like something, I remember looking at, it's like 10,000 square kilometers or something. Like, everything is so far apart. Even like the National League, it's like, it has to be done on an island basis, and then you come together for play. Like, by all rights, you shouldn't even be here. Like, as a country, you're so small. You're the smallest nation, I think, to ever qualify for the AFCON. Like, in terms of resources, infrastructure, like, you have nothing compared. Think about Egypt and Ghana, the teams you're playing. Like, you just, like, shouldn't be here, and yet you are. You're playing brilliant football. Like, what is it about Cape Verde that you guys are able to like pull this off? Because it is genuinely remarkable.
Yeah, like, look, I think it goes back to history. Like just because you're not living in Cape Verde doesn't mean you're not Cape Verdean. And traditionally, like, Cape Verdean people go off into the world, like, to try and make a living somewhere. Like my father did. Like, he went off and ended up in Ireland. Like, but there's a true sense of being Cape Verdean. And when you go back to the country and you kind of you gel with all the people, or you're there to play football, you kind of get a bit more of an understanding of what it means to be Cape Verdean. And yeah, it's just great people, really, really great people, really great atmosphere. Like, and you want to work hard for the country and give the people a sense of pride.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I can't. I'm definitely gonna have to come at some point, because I do not understand it. It is genuinely, like, I think. Yeah,
no, it is mad. Like, you can't really. It's hard. It's difficult to put into words unless you're surrounded around by it. Like, and yeah, every time I'm with this group, like, you understand it a bit more.
Yeah, and that's something that you mentioned last time we spoke about, how every time you come to play for the national team, you feel more Cape Verdean, you feel more a part of it, you feel like, kind of like you said, people take Cape Verde with them, and you feel like you're, bringing more of it with you. How has that been at this tournament in terms of your experience? You're saying that you've got a chef now who's cooking Cape Verdean food. Like, for you, kind of being a part of this team, how much has that impacted, again, further and further, your sense of being Cape Verde and your sense of being kind of from this tiny country? Yeah,
it's massive. It's like, I have a better understanding of the culture, of the people, since when I first started. So when every time I come now to a meet-up or a game, so I mean, I'm more comfortable in what to expect, and you're able to, I suppose, learn more or delve into more of what it means to be Cape Verde, whether that's through the language, the food, or the culture, or meeting people. And it's just been great like that. Even Lamine, our chef, like, when we win the game, he makes gachupa. I used to associate gachupa with what my dad used to cook for us, basically, growing up, like, and the Cape Verdean dish. But when we go over and play games in Cape Verde, we have gachupa every morning. Yeah. So it's really embedded in the team. Like, so to have that here now, it's amazing. It makes everyone feel at home now.
Yeah, I love that. And the other thing I wanted then to ask you is, because one of the things I've enjoyed doing is trying to, like, watch individual players and how they kind of operate on the pitch. And for you, like, you're so vocal. You're such kind of like, I see you're constantly screaming at. Was it Steven Moreira, your left back? Like, Sao Paulo. Yeah. Sorry, and Moreira.
4 years.
Yeah. Wait, like, when you're speaking to the other guys, just like linguistically, what are you like? Are you speaking English? Are you speaking Creole? Like, what are you actually yelling? I'm so curious.
Yeah, no, I speak Creole. I've said that since the first day I come in here. Like, I'm going to be speaking on the pitch. It has to be Creole, and I think that was for me to help settle in, and for the rest of the team to maybe like accept me a bit quicker. Like, obviously off the pitch I try, but the lads will help me out in English. That's no problem. But I think it's important to speak the one language on the pitch together. Like, it makes it easier for everybody. Like, and I'm sure the teammates have some sore ears after the game as well.
No, I love it. Like, I mean, I played to a very, very substandard level. I'm the same, screaming at everyone. Absolutely, I love it. It's proper. and for you as well. Like, I think speaking with journalists and fans, you're what I love about it. You is everyone says, oh, like, who's that guy at the back? He's got his shorts tucked in. Like,
old school.
Looks like proper old school. I love it. And like for me, it feels like as well. What I love about it is it feels like you as a player, you're playing as Cape Verdean, but you're bringing a little bit of Irish with you as well, like that kind of old school style.
Definitely. The lads tease me over that about the shorts tucking in, and it's only something I do in matches. Like, so even the first few times I was with the team, they were saying, "How come you're not doing it in train?" and all that. Like, and everyone went down with their t-shirt tucked in. Like, it's just been my sort of thing. Like, it helps me prepare for games. Like, so something I always done. Like, and I think it'd be crazy to change it now this far in my career.
Absolutely. No, I love it. And like I said, like, everyone notices you on the touchline because they're like, who's that guy? Like, proper kind of barrel chested.
Up to his chest.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant. I think it's so funny. Oh yeah, absolutely love it. I want to ask you about the kind of your experience of the rest of the tournament, because one of the things that always fascinates me is about players at tournaments is like, you don't get to do anything. Like, you just you do your training, recovery, go home, chill out in the hotel. I was speaking to Frank Onyeka from Nigeria, and he was saying, like, man, we don't get to have any fun. We just have to like go back to our hotel room, like chill, wait until the next team meeting, blah blah blah. Have you been able to watch much of the tournament from here? Yeah,
and I think, look, I can only echo what Frank has said there. Like, it is difficult at times especially when you have gaps in between games, just to sort of like entertain yourself, because you're kind of confined to the hotel. But one of the best things was we have a great bar area down there with the screens of the TV, and the hotel has been brilliant for putting on entertainment for matches. So we were able to go down and watch a game together. Like, and I think it was the last game we watched was Morocco and Zambia, which is a bit of a nothing game, I suppose, in the scheme of things. Well, for us anyway, we were through, and I don't think we could have played either side. Like, but I knew the Ivory Coast team
needed them.
We're dependent for Morocco, so the hotel staff were watching the game as well, like, and they were kicking every ball for Morocco and Zambia, and that just created some great entertainment as well. Like, so having that, I suppose, area down for ourselves, we go down and watch one of the games together. Like, it gets us out of the rooms for an hour or so. Like, and it's just been good crack. I have to say.
Yeah, I love that. And like you said, Ivorians. Like, I didn't end up watching that game because I'd kind of been in an accident earlier in the day, so I was just trying to like sleep and relax, and I got woken up because like 100 meters away, it's like fireworks, flares, like everything. It was incredible. Like,
it's brilliant. I think that's what this tournament brings. Like, it's for entertainment alone, it's unbelievable. There's no tournament like it, and then you have all the skills and the quality and the games as well after that. Like, but entertainment value, it's brilliant.
It's been fantastic, because even from a slightly negative side, for that final group game that Ivory Coast played, I went to a fan zone, and it was like crazy to watch it in a fan zone and not in the stadium, both like in terms of the party atmosphere and how like brilliant it was. But then once Ivory Coast started losing, like how it turned, it was like, oh my days, like, football means so much to people in this country, and I love that. In terms of watching the other teams, have there been any teams that you kind of enjoyed watching, teams you kind of fancy playing now? Like, what have you made of particularly the teams in the other groups? I suppose it's been surprising. Like, and I suppose you can't look past Equatorial Guinea. They've been incredible in their group games. Like, and they look really together, which is, I think, goes a long way in this tournament. Morocco look very strong, and I think they will be one of my favourites coming into the tournament. Like, so they'd be interesting to go along. But I think now we'll see things getting a bit tighter. Obviously, it's win or go home. So there's a lot more on the line. Like, so it'd be interesting. But we're just happy we're in the hat now as well. Absolutely, and thanks to your kind of coming first after the second round of fixtures, the only team to do it, which is again remarkable given who you were grouped with. You're facing up against Mauritania. Obviously, Mauritania in a lot of ways very similar to Cape Verde. Kind of 10 years ago, were like one of the worst ranked teams in the world. kind of really, they're not islands obviously, but kind of one of the most, what do you call it, like disparately dispersed countries in the world, like no population density, like tiny nation in terms of population, and but they go and beat Algeria and do remarkably. For you, how much of a difference, because I'm sure, certainly I was, when going into that game, I was assuming, probably Algeria might come third, or Burkina Faso, maybe Angola will be one of the teams. I certainly didn't think Mauritania would beat them, although even though they were pretty good in the first 2 games. How does that affect you guys in terms of the preparation? Because you've had these games where, you beat Ghana. Obviously that was, and not in terms of the performances, because I think Ghana's been a bit of a mess, but in terms of the size of the countries and stuff, you weren't expected to get anything there. And then you kind of have no pressure on you against Mozambique, because suddenly you've got a win in the bag, you can play your style of football. And then in Egypt, can rotate, it's easy going, and you still get a brilliant draw. Now against Mauritania, for the first time probably at this tournament, the pressure's going to be all on you guys in terms of the expectations.
Maybe.
How do you manage that? Well, you say maybe, but you don't even feel it.
No, I just think it's, again, like we treat every team, or try to treat every team with the same respect. It doesn't matter if you're, say, one of the small nations or big nations, whether you finish 4th, 2nd or 3rd in your group. Everybody's here on merit, and Mauritania got through on merit because they beat one of the best nations in Africa, in Algeria. So you have to respect them from what they are. You can't take anyone lightly, and we need to focus on ourselves, on what we can do and bring to the game. Obviously, they have some really dangerous threats that we need to try and nullify. But at the end of the day, we have to do what we can do to get through. And that's first and foremost. You have to win the battle. I always say that first, and then you can play your stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last question, I guess, is you might go out against Mauritania. Hopefully not. Hopefully you get all the way to the final. But at some point this tournament will end for you guys. When that happens, are you able to go back to Cape Verde at all and connect with the people, or do you have to just, especially you, because you're kind of in preseason, Shamrock Rovers about to kick off, do you get any time to appreciate what you've done at this tournament, or is it just right back to work?
Yeah, we probably won't get back to Cape Verde, because lads have obviously different club commitments that we want them back, myself included. Maybe the next time we go down there, I think is June for World Cup qualifier. We might be able to bask in them, but the support that we've been getting from Cape Verde and around the world on social medias, from videos that we're getting here, and even the fans that have made a long trip down to the Ivory Coast, has been fantastic. So you really do get a sense of what it means, and you have messages coming from back home saying how proud people are of us. I remember chatting to my dad, and he was ringing my grandfather back home in Sandy Cloud, and he said no one's walked in Cape Verde for a few days after we qualified, which is great to hear. So that they're enjoying it and they're proud of it. So hopefully we can continue to make them proud, and our journey goes on a bit longer.
Yeah, I swear, since coming to Cote d'Ivoire, half of the TikToks I get on my phone are Cape Verdean people dancing, singing, celebrating, pictures from the stadium or anything. It's crazy. Yeah, it seems to have taken over. Pico, thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime.
Great to see you.